So this is the answer for a quiz 3, and I give you a set of data over here, and I told you the sum has to be 1816, and I add it up to sum 1816, so I put the data correctly. Now to find the mean, you have just to type average and you put the cell in, and that's about it. To find the median, the same thing, you just type median equal to median and you put the cell in it and it will give it to you. Now the mode is a little bit trickier. The mode, you want to make sure it don't have multi-mode. By the way, just by looking at it, the mode is the most repeated data, and the most repeated over here, is you can see, is the 50, repeated 3 times, nothing else repeated 3 times but the 50. But I can use the Excel to find it for me. You pick up like 3-4 cells over here, then don't click nothing, you just put enter, then you pick mode, multi-mode over here, then you pick your data. Now don't hit enter yet. Okay, once you're done, just hit Control Shift all together. So one finger on Control, a second finger on Shift, and a third finger on Enter, and it should give you the whole modes if it exists. So if you have more than one mode, it will give you more than one mode. Over here it just have one mode, that's why it filled up one mode. Okay, so for example, if I want to put here, just to make sure you understand this, if I want to put another 57, so I have 2 modes. Okay, I will do this again to show you. It will find the 50 and 57. So this is equal to, notice again, let me cancel that. Let me do it again. So I will pick up 3 of them or 4 of the cells, then I will put equal mode multi. Then I will pick all my data set I have. Then I will push Control Shift Enter, and it should give you more than one mode. You see now I have 2 modes, it's 50 and 57. Okay, so don't hit enter right away. First of all, you have to do 3 steps. First of all, you have to select the 3-4 cells. Second thing, you have to pick up your data. Third thing, you have to put Control Shift Enter all together at the same time. So one finger on Control, one finger on Shift, one finger on Enter, and it will give you if you as well. So let me get out the data here. I put extra data 57, so I will take it out. Just I was gonna show you, so I want to erase all this because I have it already. Now standard deviation. Standard deviation, there is a command, is a standard diff. So here you go, standard diff. Now this is a sample because it's 41 students out of all of my students. So this is a sample. Make sure to use the .s. I notice in the quiz a lot of you used p, which is wrong because this is not a population, this is a sample. If you are not sure what you have, you can ask in the test or the exam. But over here it's mentioned it's a sample because I said the result of 41 students of my students. So okay, so this is sample. So it's standard deviation stdiv.s and the answer. Now you notice that I put another cell next to it to round it because he's asking to round to 2 decimal, which is the 100th, which is 10th, then 100th, so this 2 decimals. And in Excel I like that because they have a command says round. So you put the command round, then you pick the cell you want to round, then you pick how many digits you want to round to, and this is usually it will round up. So round up, you see. So 14.12. So I don't have to worry about rounding because I notice also in a lot of students are not good in rounding and they don't understand what they are doing. So Excel will do it for you. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Now this is the mistake a lot of students did, which is student deviation with the population. And this is not correct because it's a population. Okay, and you notice there is a difference, even a slight difference, but there is a difference. Okay, so you have to be very careful about it. Okay, now the range is the maximum minus the minimum. So I found the maximum, so the command is max minus the minimum, and the command for it is min. So how to find the range? I put max minus min. Okay, so Excel is my calculator here. I don't have to use a different calculator to find 67 minus 4. I just typed it over here. The max is 67 minus min, which is 4. By the way, if you notice, for example, if I want to do this all the time, so my range always at the same range, usually I copy paste the range. so I don't have to put it all the time. So control copy, if I put control C for copy, so I don't have to worry about it every time I want to put the range. For example, I want to find this, the first quartile. I don't have to go highlight. I will just come here and put control V, which is so paste, and then I want the first quartile. Notice that it is 1 next to it, which is for first quartile. Then you find the second quartile, same way. Then you find the third quartile, same way. Notice that the second quartile is your median. I just find them usually right away, the 3 of them. Now the IQR, which is the interquartile, is the third quartile minus the first quartile. So the third quartile minus the first quartile, and I did it over here. You notice third quartile minus first quartile. Notice that I always refer. I don't like to type numbers. Why is that? Because if I change my data, for example, instead of 40, I change to 42, everything is going to change automatically. I don't have to worry about it. Does this make sense? So let's go back to what this data was, which is 40. So you always to refer to, you don't type numbers in Excel. Remember this. Okay. So the interquartile was maximum. The third quartile was the third quartile. The interquartile was the third quartile minus the first quartile, and this was 19. I have students did a mistake again doing the quartile excluded. In the quartile, you always use the INC, which is the included. Percentile, same thing, you use INC, which is included. So you want to include the corner, basically. You don't want to exclude the corner. Over here, they exclude the corner, and you get a wrong mistake over here. Okay, the value of the 35th percentile, I was asking what is the value for 35th percentile, and the value for 35th percentile, basically it's a command, percentile, then included, then I put the range, then I put what I want, 35 percentile. Notice that Excel tells you, for example, you want to know what is in the K. I have a student ask me in the exam, what is in the K, what should I put? It will tell you, and if you click on it, if you click on the percentile, it will tell you as well as an example. Look, it says K required the percentile value in the range 0 to 1, inclusive. So inclusively between 0 and 1. It can be 0, it can be 1. But it has to be, the K has to be a number between 0 and 1. So you cannot put, for example, you cannot put 35th, 35. It will give you error right away because he wants it in value between 0 and 1. So I'll put 0.35. Then enter, and it will find for you the percentile. Now some people, I noticed that they did it by hand, and if you do it by hand by using the formula, you are finding the location. Okay, so the location is 14.35, and in the book says if the location is decimal, then you put it, you round it up, you know. So you round it up, not round off, you round it up. Okay, now over here, if you remember, I said round, and this round is round off. It means if the third digit is 6, it will be 0.12. But if the third digit is 2, it will be 0.11. This is what we call round off. Now this one over here, it will round up. So I want to round up. And if you have by hand, you will get 82 point, where is it? Over here, the percentile by hand, it came to 14.35. So the book tells you if you have decimal, so round it up, so to the next digit, so you will have 15. So the location of the number is the 15 location. And the 15 location over here, if you count the 15 location, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, the 15 location is 41. As that's what is Excel did it for me really quick. I didn't have to do it by hand. Okay, the next one is the percentile rank of 56. So if I have a score of 56, what is his percentile rank? So again, it's a command says percentile rank by Excel. You see percentile rank included. So I put the array, then I put 56, and it's supposed to give you decimal over here. So this means it is 0.82%, which is 82.5 percentile. So the location of this is 80. The location of 56 is 82.5 percentile. It means 82.5 of the data above that and just 17.5 below it. Okay. And if you see the 56 over here, you notice that a little bit data below and above is more data, which is correct. It makes sense here. So every number I get, I try to make sense of it. Okay, notice that I wrote it here by hand. I really wrote it by hand. I multiplied by 100, then I wrote percentile by hand. Now some people did the percentile rank excluded, which will give them different number as well, if you notice. So be very careful using included all the time, and using sample or population, the .s or .p. These extensions for Excel is very important. Now the second question and the last question, I was trying to find the lower bound and upper bound. I noticed a lot of you didn't know how to use the Excel over here to do it. Well, you can use a calculator. It's a formula. It's a formula says it's the first quartile minus 1/2 of multiplied by the interquartile. So my calculator over here is Excel. So I will refer it as, so I want the first quartile, and the first quartile, if you notice, it's over here. So I went and referred to it. Then minus 1/2 of the interquartile, and interquartile over here is this one over here, which is the 19. Okay, so I got the answer over here. Here, let me write it again just to show you. So I want the first quartile. Here's the first quartile minus 1/2 multiplied by the interquartile, and the interquartile is this thing. So I will just refer to it and it will give me, so this is the smallest amount of data that I can have without being an outlier. And now I want to find the maximum amount I can have without being an outlier. Let me erase this and write it again. So this is equal to the third quartile plus 1/2 multiplied by the interquartile, which is 19. So any data more than 82.5 test score, then this is what we'll consider outlier. Any data less than 6.5, we will consider outlier. So going back to the data, I noticed that 4 is less than 6.5, 18 is more, so it's not an outlier. So the only outlier is 4. The other one, 82.5 on the top here, I don't have anything more than 82.5, so I don't have a larger outlier. So the only outlier over here is 4, which is less than 6.5. Okay. The people who has data analysis, they can find this really quickly as well by clicking data and going to data analysis, and you can go to descriptive, because I've seen people using it, descriptive statistics, then click OK, and they say input the range. So this is my range over here. Then the output range, I can put it in new worksheet, and I want summary statistics, and that's all about it. Is there a label? I want to double check my things don't have a label, so I didn't put the label, so I will not click this, and OK. So you notice that the computer will give you right away mean is 44.29, standard median is 48. The problem here, be careful with the mode, because the mode here is single mode. Sometimes you will have multi-mode, so this is not gonna work. You have to use the mode extension of it is multi. A standard deviation over here for the sample, everything here taking is for sample variance, and range, maximum, minimum. So very similar to what I found before for standard deviation, for example 14.1111. If you look at the first sheet, 14.1111.603, 14.11603, the same thing I found earlier. And most of the data is the same, the range, maximum, minimum, the sum of them, the count of them, how many data. So this is a luxury for people who has the data analysis, but I really seldom use the data analysis. I usually like to go and type, because I just want what I want. I don't have to have all these. Okay. You will see later on in a lot of word problems we just need, for example, the average and the standard deviation, and that's about it. So you need to know how to use it. Thank you all. I hope this is helpful for you.